Hello, this is Mr. Win, and this video is about adding and subtracting rationals. So when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you must have a common denominator. That is a requirement. That is not a requirement when you multiply or divide, so that's why adding and subtracting is harder. But once they match, you just add or subtract the tops and leave the bottom the same. Now many of y'all learned to do common denominators the old way, where basically you multiply each fraction by the other denominator. So this first one is missing a 6, so you'd multiply the first fraction by 6 over 6. The second fraction, you multiply by 4 over 4. All right, now let's multiply. 6 times 1 is 6, top times top, bottom is bottom. 6 times 4 is 24. That's the first fraction. Then the second one, 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 4 is 24. That's the second fraction. Now the denominators are matching. So what we're going to do is add the top. 6 plus 4 is 10. The bottom stays the same. But we have to reduce. So the older we're reducing is you figure out what goes into both of them. I can divide them both by 2. So 10 divided 2 is 5. 24 divided 2 is 12. And you can't reduce anymore, so that is the answer. So that does work, but it's not going to help us in this new, harder problems. So the new way and the more efficient way is using factoring. Because here 24, that was not the least common denominator. That was just a common denominator. If you think about it, 4 and 6 actually meet up at 12. So the way you get 12 is this. You're going to factor just the denominators, not the numerators. So 4 is really 2 times 2. You factor 6. 6 is really 2 times 3, the prime numbers. That's breaking down because they're single terms. Now you figure out how do you make these match. This has two 2's. This is a 2 and a 3. Well, this one's missing one of the 3's here, and this one's missing one of the 2's there. So I'll multiply what's missing. So the first fraction only needs a 3. The second fraction only needs a 2. Then you multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So the first fraction is 3 over 12. Over here, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 3 is 12. So the bottoms are matching 12. Once they're matching, you add the tops. 3 plus 2 is 5. And the bottom is 12. Same answer, but no need to reduce at the end. No need to get big numbers. All right, so now that you understand the reasoning for the new method, let's officially write out the steps, as there is a tricky part. So step 1, you're going to factor the bottoms only. You don't care about the top. So GCF is always first, then difference of squares, if you can square root them, guess and check, X method, box method, grouping of 3 terms. So here's our problem. I'm going to factor just the bottom because these are not the same. I don't know what to multiply by. So this is one term. It's one term you break it down. 8, you can turn into 2 times 2 times 2. And then x cubed, you try to get rid of the exponents, you write x 3 times x times x times x. So that's the first fraction fully factored. Then you're going to factor the second fraction. 10, that's one term, 10x. 10 is really 2 times 5. That's prime factorization, and then x. All right, step 2, you're going to find the LC, the least common denominator. You can figure out what factors you need and what's missing from each of them. If they're repeats, you must use the one that appears the most times. So I'm going to go in order. So I see 2 here. I see 3 2's in the first fraction, 1 2 in the second fraction. Well, the most 2's that appear is 3 of them at once. So I need 3 2's in my LCD. All right, then I'm going to keep going. I see x. There's 3 x's here, 1 x there. The most times it appeared was 3, so I'm going to need 3 x's. Then I keep going. 2, I already took care of 2 in the first fraction. 5 is new. There's 1 5 here, 0 5's there, so I need 1 5. And then x, I already took care of. That's not new. So that's my LCD. Because it's going to be your final denominator in the end, you might as well find your restrictions now. Again, restrictions only come from letters. You skip the 2, skip 2, skip 2. This is x cannot be 0. Repeat x can't be 0. Repeat x can't be 0. And then 5 you skip. All right, so our LCD, each fraction needs to have these 7 things. So step 3 or 4 is to fix each fraction. Multiply all the denominators to match the LCD by multiplying what's missing. So the first one has 6 things. There's 7 things. It's missing at 5. So all I do is multiply by 5. The second fraction has 3 things, but it needs 7 things, so it's missing 4 of them. I'm going to write all 4. So it's missing 2 2's and 2 x's. All right, once you're there, you're going to simplify the top. You're going to multiply, distribute. So I put parentheses on as x squared plus 3 because this 5 has to multiply all of that. And then make sure you multiply 2 things at once. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times x is 4x. 4x times x is 4x squared. So that's where we're at now. And there's also a, let's see. Now I'm going to distribute again. So 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times 3 is 15. The bottom I fix as well. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. Then x times x times x cubed is 4x cubed. That's the first fraction. Second fraction, if you multiply, you get that. But now the bottoms are matching. We have a common denominator. So the bottom stays the same. and then you combine the tops. Make sure you put in the correct order. The letter of the highest exponent goes first, so 28x cubed goes first. Then here's x squared, here's x squared. 5x squared plus 4x squared is 9x squared. Then here's the 15. Make sure you include your restrictions. So that is your answer right there. All right, last problem. Subtracting is exactly the same as addition, but with one extra step. Just like we will change division into multiplication by changing the sign and flipping the fraction, we can change subtraction to addition by changing the sign and distributing a -1. Then you do the same 5 steps as before. So if this is the problem, I'm going to fix this negative sign first. I'll make it a plus sign and distribute -1 to the top. And notice I put the parentheses here because the -1 has to multiply both of these. Then I do the regular steps. Factor the bottoms. X squared minus 9, there's no GCF. That has a different squares because it's square rootable. It's going to be xx, 3 plus minus. I like taking care of the negative, distributing negative right away. So that's why I distribute up here, -4x plus 6. Down here, it's 3 terms, no GCF, so I do guess and check. 2xx, I guess 5, 3. That's 6x, that's 5x. Can 6 and 5 make 1? Yes. It's positive 1, so the big number 6 has to be positive. 5 is negative, and then I check negative times positive is negative, the sign matches. Now I find my LCD. I need x was 3. There's 1 here, there's 1 there. Most that appears 1, so we need at least one of them. X minus 3 appears once here, 0 times there, so we need one of those. 2x minus 5 appears once here, 0 times there, so we need one of those. And then this x was 3 already showed up earlier, so we skip that. It's a repeat. Find our restrictions. Set this equal to 0. Well, it can't be 0 because that's a bad answer because it's undefined if the bottom of a fraction is 0. You subtract 3, you get -3. You say x minus 3 cannot equal 0, you add 3, you get positive 3. To this equals 0, you have to add 5 first, then divide by 2. Now you're going to multiply each fraction by what's missing. Each fraction needs to have these 3 things. So, and here's where I'm lazy. It's a lot of writing if you write the fraction, put the same thing on top and bottom. So if you want to, you can take a shortcut, just write the thing on top, and I'll know that this means 2x minus 5 on top and bottom. So the first fraction has 2 things, it needs 3 things, it's missing 2x minus 5. The second fraction has 2 things, it needs 3 things, it's missing 1 thing, so it's missing x minus 3. But now both these fractions have the same 3 things on the bottom. 2x minus 5, x plus 3, x minus 3. 2x minus 5, x plus 3, x minus 3. There's another lazy shortcut I do is once the bottoms are the same, you can just write LCD because you don't write this all 3 things over and over. So as long as you have the LCD written somewhere on your paper, I can say, okay, I'll just look back at that. And then also you have to FOIL the top, so I get 2x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 5. Second fraction, same thing, you FOIL, and then the bottom is LCD. Once the bottoms match, keep it the same, call the bottom LCD, combine the tops. So 2x squared minus 4x squared is -2x squared. 2x minus 5x is -3x. -3x plus 6x is 3x. 3x plus 12x is 15x. Then -5 minus 18 is -23. Then don't forget your restrictions. So this here in green is your final answer. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you ask questions or email your teacher. Stay safe. Thanks again. Bye.